Perfect. Cool. So, what's going on, everybody? It's Drew from Up Top, and we're doing a class discussion on market cycles, right? So, basically, being able to interpret, what I'm saying, what kind of area the market is in, what I'm saying, and how I perceive these cycles and everything. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start out, right? So, right now, I'm on the SPY hourly chart, right? And so the way that I look at the market on a macro level is I see the market always doing one of four things, right? It's either an uptrend, in the downtrend, in a range, or trading ambiguously, right? So meaning it's not very clear trend and can be interpreted in different ways, right? I'm gonna break down each of those two so we can see how I see the market. So the first, what I want to show is a downtrend, right? So a downtrend is, when we're in a downtrend, we are having lower highs and lower lows, right? So we could be in a downtrend channel, and I'll show you an example of that right here, right? So I want to see, first of all, like a high peak, then a low high, right? But I like to use trend lines, right, to determine trends. So if I take this high right here with my trend line tool and I draw it all the way down, boom. Now we can see here that we have a clear downtrend, right? We got higher lows rejecting this trend line. I mean, lower highs, 1, 2, 3, 4 rejects, right? So this is a clear downtrend. And we can even draw the support for it too. And it shows a clear downtrend channel, right? So when we're in a downtrend, if say we are here, we know that, or actually say we are here, and we got these 2 touches of resistance or 3 touches of resistance. We know that all we have to do is wait and be patient for a touch, right, of this 4th touch of resistance for a reject or a breakout, right? And that's basically how I play the market, right? I identify what kind of range, what kind of cycle we are in, and then I just make my decisions off of that. I wait at support or I wait at resistance for a reject, break, or bounce, right? So this is also, you can also consider this a range as well, since we bounce in between the support and resistance, but it's a downtrend range, right? So yeah, you can play the support bounces up to resistance because we know that we are within this range, right? But now see, the high percentages plays come when we break out of these resistances or supports or these channels, right? You can see here we got a breakout here. We broke out here on this day, right, with rising value. I always want to see a breakout of resistance or support with rising value, right? So we got the breakout here with rising value. You can see the corresponding candle bar or value bar down here. And then the retest, and then we shot up. We broke out here at 397, and then we got to 417 in 2 days. So these are going to be a high percentage plays. It's going to be the breakouts or the breakdowns, right? So this is a downtrend, right? So this is one of the 4 that I see. The next I will go into is trading in the range, right? So when stocks are trading in the range, I want to see a series of common highs and a series of common lows, right? So I'm just eyeballing the chart, and then boom, like right here, I see that we have common highs right here, right? So I want to draw a trend line here. Boom. Now, know that these are never going to be perfect. Sometimes you may have a little break above or break below, or like a reject below here, and that's normal, right? If it breaks above, let's zoom in a little bit, like here, this is just a fake out, right? And the way you identify these fake outs is that if the first candle outside of the range, if it doesn't have rising value, then it's probably a fake out, right? So you can see the first candle outside here, it broke on low volume, right? So this is not a trade I would take because this is not a confirmed breakout for me. We broke out, but barely. You see, we got the wick here and then the declining value. So this tells me that bears are in control here, right? So to match the series of the common highs of a range, I want to see a series of common lows, right? So you can see we got almost the same lows right here, 1, 2, 3. So that's cool enough for me. I like to see 3 touches of support and resistance for it to be significant for me, right? So now we have identified a clear range, right? Some people don't like trading ranges. I do, because for me it's clear. I know where resistance is and I know what support is, and all I'm doing is waiting at support or waiting at resistance for a reject or a break, or for a bounce or a break below. Um, and again, your high probability, your high percentages plays are going to be on the break of these resistances or the break of these supports, right? You see here we broke support. Now look, that this first candle out, right, is barely out, but it's out. And it has rising volume here. Or if you're not comfortable with this, just peeking out that little, you can wait for the next candle for confirmation. And look what happened in the next candle. Broke, out, closed, nasty rising volume. So you could have took puts here at the bottom, and then look what happened. We fell significantly, right? So again, we broke here at 406. The next day we were at 390. $16 move in one day, right? So that's why I say these are going to be your high percentage plays. It's going to be the break of these trends, the break of these ranges, right? So yeah, so this is trading the range. Whenever, like, if a stock is in the middle of this range, I'm not touching it at all, because if it's in the middle, that means it can go up or down. It's no clear direction, right? So the buyers, the buyers and the sellers, the bulls and the bears, are both, have control. It's basically like a tug of war, right? It's not until we reach resistance or support that we can get clear direction, right? And the way that I see that is I look to the lower time frames, and I want to see, like, like on a 5 minute, 15 minute, I want to see wicks. I want to see nice strong candles that's going to tell me whether we're going to break below or not. And another thing I use is level 2 time and sales on thick or swing, but that's we can do that class another day, because that's a whole different conversation. So yeah, so this is a perfect example of trading in a range. So we went over downtrend, trading in a range. So next will be an uptrend, right? So same as the previous two, uptrend is the opposite of the downtrend, right? So I want to see higher highs and higher lows. So I get my trend line tool out. I find a low here, and then I bring it up and I try and connect it to higher lows, more higher lows, which you see here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 touches here, right? So once I identify this, I know that we are in an uptrend, right? I don't want to play no puts when we're in an uptrend, because why go against the market? Why go against the trend? The trend is your friend. You stay within the trend, you'll be good. You feel me? So now you can play puts, you know what I'm saying, at these resistances if you draw a channel. I don't really like doing this too much, because given that we're in an uptrend, I might expect for us to break trend and keep going higher, because we're making higher highs and higher lows. But you can make good money if you play these right. But ideally with uptrends, I like to wait for the break or a break of support or the bounce of support. You can see every time we bounce off this support, we make significant moves. Here we bounced at 371, we came up to 389 the next day. Here we bounced off for 390. 2 days later, we're at 409. It's a $19 move. Here we bounced off of 410, and then we made a high of 431. It's a $21 move, and this was just in August 10th to August 16th. This was in 6 days, so almost one trading week. So this is why I love trading trends, and I have to know what the market is doing. So I always zoom out, look at the picture, the bigger picture, and see what the market is doing, right? And just like we said before, whenever we get to break up trends, break up ranges, these are your significant moves, right? We broke here. Let's see if we broke a rising value. We did not. Well, this was pre-market. The shaded is pre-market, so we wouldn't have been able to cut this anyway. But you see, we broke here, and then we retested. We retested with this nasty wick here, and then we opened and kind of retested here with rising volume. So I would have liked this, and then from 424, 425, the next day we were at 412. So significant moves always happen on breakup supports and breakup resistances, but you want to be careful, because you want to make sure that you're taking these on high volume. You don't want to take a breakout with a candle that's outside of the zone on low value, because that, most of the time signifies a fake out, right? So we don't want to get caught in the fake outs. Another thing to know is that these supports and resistances, they flip, right? So what I mean by that is support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support, right? So you see we got the breakup support here. Now this support becomes resistance, right? Right here we rejected, and now we know we got resistance right here, and we can write it down. And then you can use this same resistance area as a stop loss if you're swinging or scalping or whatever. So yeah, we went over downtrends, range trading in the range, just bounce between support and resistance, uptrend, and then now, now we will look for an ambiguous zone, right? So an ambiguous zone for me would be, something like this area right here. Like, it's like we kind of in an uptrend, but then we in a downtrend, but then we chopping, uptrend, but then we chopping. It's not very clear. So I would not mess with this thought, around this area. Now we did come up here and we did create a little sloppy range right here. We can, boom, trend line tool, boom. We did create a range right here. But this is, this only happened within 1 day. But you see, once we broke the range with rising volume, we got a nasty little downtrend fall. Then we caught support. You can see we caught support significantly at the same area where support was over here. But this to me is ambiguous. You see all these gaps. We're up, then we're down, then we're chopping. This is ambiguous. So I'm not trading this. I'm going to wait until we become into accumulation, into a range, or we enter a uptrend and hold. You know what I'm saying? I want to see us hold 2, 3, 4 touches of a trend line. So this is the 4 ways that I see the market, right? So I see the downtrends, ranges, uptrends, and then ambiguously trading, right? So, and this is very similar to, if y'all are familiar with the Wyckoff strategy. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Boom. So this is how the Wyckoff market cycle is kind of similar to I look at it, but the way he has it is accumulation, markup, right? The markup phase right here, for me, is uptrend, right? And then markdown is downtrend. And then accumulation and distribution is basically trading in the range. So very similar to the Wyckoff market cycle. And you can see, after accumulation or trading in the range, you can see once it breaks that resistance, the dotted red line, you can see the significant move it makes, right? Same with distribution. Once it breaks the support, the green line, significant move down into markdown or downtrend. So that's how I look at the market as a whole. Of course, there's more variables and everything that go into it. But and we'll go in more depth, as we do more classes. But just on a general, scraping the surface, this is ideally how I look at the market. And I always, at first, I want to see, where the market is on a larger time frame. Because then once you know where the market is, then you can kind of know where you should be entering at, where you should be selling at, or where you should be buying at. So yeah, I hope this is very clear for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can get into my head, my eyes, and see how I see the market. And yeah, I'll wait around for a couple questions. Y'all got questions, or you want me to explain anything further in depth? And if not, then I'll pass it over.